Hello there. Tell me, have you ever seen a snake? Generally, what is our reaction to the snake when we see it? Ah! We scream, right? Or we shoo it away, or we look for means just to kill it. Let me tell you about a small incident from this morning itself. This morning, I had an encounter with a snake on my way here. Any guesses? What must have been my immediate reaction? No, I didn't kill it or shoo it away. I just moved away from its path and let it slither away. After all, it is just a harmless creature that might have gotten lost on its way home. Now, it is general tendency that we all are human beings and we have to get scared when we come across any animal, right? But have you thought that cutting down trees and jungles to build cities, we are capturing their habitat? So the animals might get scared of us too. So I have my own reasons not to react to that snake. But does everyone react in the same way? Well, the answer to that question is quite tough. And we don't know what people may do in a situation like this. But I can tell you about one person's reaction. That is the poet D.H. Lawrence's reaction himself towards a snake in his own poem called The Snake, and he tells us a story about his own encounter with a snake in his backyard. What do you think he did? Did he shoo it away? Did he kill it? I know you want to know, and we will find out more in this poem, okay, that we are going to discuss today. But before we dive into the poem, a little bit about D.H. Lawrence. Now, David Herbert Lawrence, or D.H. Lawrence, as known popularly, was born on the 11th of September 1885 in Eastwood, Nottinghamshire, England. Now, Lawrence was an eminent novelist, short story writer, poet, essayist, and painter, which we didn't really know about. He is one of the greatest figures in 20th century England. Lawrence's first published work were poems. And since then, his poetry has, had a significant influence on many poets. Lawrence was a rebellious writer and was known for his profoundly critical and argumentative writings. You'll see it in this poem too, trust me. One of his most popular books in his collection of poems was Birds, Beasts and Flowers. Now, all the poems in this collection are nature-based poems, and he wrote them on the basis of his own experience in the Mediterranean and the southwest of America. Now, he categorized these poems under the heads of fruits, of trees, of flowers, or even mere creatures like reptiles, birds, and animals. The poem Snake that we will read today falls under the category of reptiles in the same collection, and it was written in the year 1923. When he was living in Sicily, which happens to be a place in Italy, and it is based on his actual encounter with a snake at a water trough. Now, that we know the premise of this poem, we shall read it out in totality. Yeah? Let's go. Snake, D.H. Lawrence. A snake came to my water trough on a hot, hot day, and I in pajamas for the heat to drink there. In the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher and must wait, must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. Now, this poem, which is set in the poet's backyard, explores the relationship between humans and one of the most feared reptiles on earth, the venomous snake. This entire poem revolves around the very encounter that we are going to talk about now. Well, The poem has piqued my interest. So let's understand in detail what is really being said here. Okay, we're going to read the first part. Now, a snake came to my water trough on a hot, hot day, and I in pajamas for the heat to drink there. In this part, we see that the poet is talking about his encounter, okay, on a typical summer day with a snake. When he is wearing his pajamas in order to beat the heat, he had gone to fetch water from the trough. He found the snake had reached there before him to drink water. Spotting a snake ought to be a shocking surprise for the poet, or for anyone for that matter. And in a bit, we will find out how he reacted to this. So before that, let me explain some words and their meanings, okay? So what do you think the word trough is? What do you think it means? It is a long, narrow, open container for animals to eat or drink out of. We're familiar with the word pajamas, right? It is a loose-fitting jacket and trousers for sleeping in. Let us see if the poet has used any figures of speech here. Okay, in this line, on a hot, hot day. The poet, okay, tell me, what do you think it is? He's repeated the word hot twice. Why? To give emphasis and to add a poetic effect to the line. What is this known as? What is this device known as? Repetition. Very good. And we also know that repetition is a literary device that repeats the same word or phrase a few times to make an idea clearer. Let's read the second part. In the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher and must wait, must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. In these lines, the poet describes how the trough was kept in the shade of a large carob tree, and that the entire place had a sort of strange smell. But when the poet reached the trough with his pitcher, which is a large jug, he had to stand there and wait because that snake was there before him. By the way, we came across a very interesting named tree by the name of carob tree. Have you heard of that before? I haven't. I'll tell you what it is. It is a small, evergreen Arabian tree which bears long, brownish, purple-colored edible pods. Now I want you to read this line. And must wait, must stand and wait. Does something click in your head? That's right. The words are repeated. The words must, the words wait are repeated in this line to give emphasis and a poetic effect. So we know the poetic device. Come on, give it to me. Repetition, very good. It is where the same words or phrases are repeated to make an idea clearer. Tutormate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.